Did anyone been to a pub yet?
No.
Yes,
You have. You have, Tony.
No, yeah, I haven't actually.
I did go. Yes, it was extremely strange, really. I had some really strong procedures in place. So at least I felt pretty safe.
Which bar did you go to, Tony?
It was the Howard Arms in Carlisle. Very good it was, yeah.
Is it right they've got a gin bar upstairs now?
I don't know. I didn't pay that one, but yeah, it was quite a procedure to get me pint. I had to give my name and make contact details, and it was quite a procedure.
Yeah.
It was worth it though.
Good.
Was the pub very busy then, Tony? Or was it?
No. I don't allow it to get busy. I'm very careful.
You've been near enough, sort of like to talk to other people, Tony?
I didn't have a chance to, but I think on the whole, people just were in their own groups, and I didn't see a lot of interaction going on.
Getting a bit sort of concerned with how things have been handled with the COVID crisis and lockdown easing and things. And these words sort of popped into my head earlier on. It's called lost at sea. It goes something like this. If memory is an ocean which stops at the shore, why do I feel adrift like I've been here before, on a boat with no sails? Winds howl through endless gales. Rain buckets down and it hails. Don't tell me we're clueless. Don't tell me we're crewless. Don't tell me we're all lost at sea. What do you mean there's no compass, moral or otherwise? The astrolabe isn't installed. And besides, it's only a technical aid, or maybe an order. We're crashing through churning, stormy, dark water, swirling depths of the unknown, navigating uncharted seas, getting caught up as waves follow waves. The captain has no sense of direction. Is it too late to call an election? Did you glimpse a flash from the lighthouse? Or is it wreckers shining false signals from the cove? We're on the rocks, or is it a cliff edge? Will we survive this great storm, a foul tempest, and prosper? Oh, how we hunger for gold, to fill our coffers until we grow old. Unlike the coffin dodgers, who fell foul of the grim reaper because they didn't follow the rules. Infallible leaders, blame shifting so cruel. Watch out for the sirens. They may take you away. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe today. Lured to your fate, far beneath the depths you weep, in the kingdom of Neptune, god of the deep. Wring your hands in fear for 20 seconds at least. Take on the Kraken, this mythical beast. Rigging creaks at the seams, above splintered, cracked beams. Turbulent waters knock me to the floor. I ponder to myself, can we fathom much more? And that's that. Thank you very much. Okay, Jeanette, what have you got for us?
Right, very short one. I found a link to, it was like prompts throughout July for 6-word stories. So I've had to go to 6-word story. I don't know if I've got it right. And pardon my pronunciation, but the prompt was geisha. Do you say geisha or geisha? Geisha. Anyway, the little story is, all she removed was makeup. And that's me.
That was great. 6-word stories. I'll have to try that sometime.
I can send you the link, you know, with all the 31 prompts on if you want.
Oh yeah. You could post that on the SpeakEasy group or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Blimey. That was quick, wasn't it? Right. Hang on. That's better. I am going to read a poem from my pamphlet, Fresh Air, and of course it is published by Cordu Press, and at the end of this poem, I must warn you that people show a complete absence of social distancing, and the poem is called Tuesday Trundlers. I will set up a walking group and call it Tuesday Trundlers. We will give each other lifts, and our old bones will creak as we bend to lace our boots in car parks of country parks. Each walk will have a leader who has tested the route for flatness and firmness. We will set off injury with a quiet clack of chat and ecky trekking poles to walk around a reservoir or wend through woodland. The slowest among us will be in the vanguard. There will be frequent stops, ostensibly to admire the vistas, but really to catch breath or pee discreetly behind trees. We will follow a golden rule to never speak of the fell that all of us used to climb. This will last for a season. Then we will say, sod it. We will tackle the Wasgales Grease, one step up, two steps down, and we will collapse in a tangle at the bottom to cackle at our absurdity. Eat ears will hop up close as rainbow ruses bloom. Golden plovers will fly over, and a young peregrine falcon will perform its acrobatics to our tears of delight. And that's it. That's a nice. So I found out this morning that the Cotswold outdoor store in Carlisle is not going to come back. It is shut now. That's a shame.
Val, you're up next. You got something for us?
Yeah. I was reading a book called The Missing, which is about missing people. And it reminds me that my great-grandfather actually went missing. So this poem's about him. It's just called Missing. Great-granddad walked out the front door. That night he didn't come home. Now he floats forevermore in a missing twilight zone. Mary Ellen walks down to the gate. Where has her husband gone? She never did find out his fate. No grave to put flowers on. She asks herself why he disappeared that day. Did he stumble and die? A victim of foul play? Were there secrets and lies? A bigamous wife? Did he take a disguise and start a new life? Did he jump on board ship? A sudden impulse to go on a faraway trip? She'd never know. Mary Ellen puts her children to bed, and then she sits up late. Is he still alive or dead? All she can do is wait. Yeah.
Mysterious. John.
Okay, here we go. I had the COVID way back at the end of March. Luckily, it was just a mild version. But I wrote this poem as I was recovering. So it's called Getting Better. In an uncontrollable rage, I read 22 novels, but only first page. I was fraught at the thought of becoming infected through a slump in morality of prime ministerial proportion. I felt a motivation coming on for wealth extraction. This wasn't me. Had I expired and been shoddily relabeled? I'm coming out the other end. I'm coming out the other end. I've been inhaling fireproof sofas. I've been reminiscing on Aztec bars. I'm overwhelmed by concerns on mediocrity. The accusations were all self-fabricated. I've indulged in serial procrastination. Data reveals my slumping in armchairs. I put the light on for company. I gave the door a good talking to. The curtains left, feeling ugly. The letterbox ignored me. The foot of the bed was out of range. I decided not to get changed. I considered leading an expedition to discover the laundry basket. I'd been licking windows clean. I'd been counting and recounting baked beans. I won't be moving out this chair any day soon, even though I've run out of raisins. I wasn't tempted out by a good drying day. I'm going to be carbon neutral by 2050, or earlier, by 9:15. I developed an allergy to pan and brush. I feared the crush of the Hoover's coil. The sink was away on holiday. I listened for the kettle to boil. My diary came slowly into focus. I collapsed into administration. It seems my pen was working all the time. My shoes have left the scene of the crime. I felt as sluggish as a slug on drugs. My balance was decidedly fairgroundish. I was convinced the world was revolving around me. My coat went out without me. I'm coming out the other end. I'm coming out the other end. I managed to blend a superlative soup, how I wormed my way into that cauliflower's affection. I considered growing mushrooms in my wardrobe, and I'm forming a band called the Poetry Shop Boys. On TV, I watched Hairy Bikers, Coronavirus Interceptors. I watched You've Been Inside Out by 2.5 Men. I watched Gold Poirot with A Grand Escape. I wept at the deadly red button in between theory. Gangs of careerists are coming after us. They're worried about the economy. Compulsive capitalists are losing the plot. They can't stomach the thought. Their shares have tanked. Finding solace in a right good wash, they're suffering a deceit of deference. Their mystique holidays already cancelled. Their probing snouts demand dividends and bailouts. The government must really do something. I'm coming out the other end. I'm coming out the other end. Thank you.
Oh, nice to see you come out the other end, John. Great. Good stuff.
Really good, really good. Okay, Barbara.
Cool. I'm not reading any of my own stuff tonight, which is perhaps good. This piece, it's a Kathleen Jamie poem, which she wrote in 1999. But it's kind of quite interesting. It's called Locken. When all this is over, I mean to travel north by the high drove roads and cart tracks, probably in June, with the gentle dog roses flourishing beside me. I mean to find among the thousands scattered in that land a certain quiet Locken, where water lilies rise like small fat moons, and tied among the reeds underneath a rowan, a white boat waits. That's Kathleen Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it. It was lovely. Richard, what have you got for us?
So, yeah, I've got one that's just about trying to improve things in the world, and it's called What Would You Do? What would you do to change the world if you could? What does it take to love people as you should? Then to make the world a better place for all, a happy place to dwell, for big and small. How would you change our sad planet, given time, to leave it in a better state, more sublime? Then make the world a nicer place, I'm told, a safe place to live for both young and old. Where would be best to change lands, near or far, tackling things that shouldn't be the way that they are? Then to make a world a place of which we're proud, for the single person and for the crowd. Who would you change? All those tyrants and despots, the leaders and kings, to someone with less spots? What would you have to change if you're inclined? For a dramatic impact is just your mind. That's it. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, wise words indeed. Roz, you're up.
Hi. I thought I'd start with this, which is it's just about a job that's a trigger for my memory. It's called topping and tailing gooseberries. Topping and tailing gooseberries, deftly turning the small green fruit, lifted one by one from the colander, snip, snip, a muted thud as it drops into the box. Rhythmic and time-consuming, hands fully occupied, mind free to wander. But I already know where mine will go. Back to another garden on a sunny afternoon, 25 years ago, where I sat, passing the time, unable to concentrate, mindlessly, rhythmically, topping and tailing gooseberries, snip, snip, thud, willing the time to pass. Snip, snip, thud, waiting, anxious to make the phone call, afraid of the answer. I'm going to get upset here, I'm sorry. It's not emotional for you, only me. Right, knowing the odds against success, but aware this life-giving intervention could add 30 years to your life. Without it, you would not have become an adult. Well, I turned the small green fruit. Surgeons deftly turned your small heart, lifted from your body. Snip, snip. To extend your life, the life-giving flow was redirected. You changed irrevocably that day, and with each passing year that you cheat death, your future shrinks. I know when the Fontans fails, as inevitably it must, so will you. But for another year, I will put these thoughts on ice, and I'll put the gooseberries in the freezer to extend their life, knowing that storage has a limit. And that's that. Thank you. And that's my alarm going.
Thank you very much. That was great. Susan, have you got something for us? Have you finished your dinner?
I finished my dinner, but I haven't got any work on me, so I'll miss this round and I'll do the next one.
Okay then. Oh well, back to me then. We've got about 7 minutes before we all have to sign in again, but if we just use the same login as before, it should be fine. Yeah, this one is called Ultimate Gamble, and it goes back to what we were chatting about before, as Tony was telling us how he's ventured to the pub. It goes like this. Unbroken promises, not quite made. Hopes and fears are dashed, not raised. Defeat is snatched from the jaws of victory. We choose what to rewrite and overlook in our own history. Good fortune favors the brave. One's fate laid bare in a loaded deck. Can you count the cards? Can you read their messages? There's no system, only house rules. Do you listen to Lady Luck or find that happy medium? Run away with good favor till you slam on the brake. Nobody's perfect. Who's never made a mistake? Go for a spin. You're in the red. You're in the black. Gamble with the ultimate risk. Your life for a pint. That's that. Thank you. All right. Jeanette, we're back to you.
Muted. Just I had a ratch on the bookshelf, and when I joined the writing group in Wigton, unfortunately it doesn't run anymore. One of the first poems I tried to get back into, it was from a prompt about show not tell, and this is it. See if you can guess. Well, I'm sure you'll guess what it is, but I cannot find it. 1 second, sorry about this. Here we go. Lush mown lawn, guarded by flora, devoid of weeds. Absorbing the evening, I reflect on the day. Amidst morning dew, a thick stem emerges, defying the breeze, willing me not to remove it. Head bright and youthful, nuisance to some, ray of sunshine to me. Time swiftly alters to a transparent white orb. I blow its seeds to the future and wish upon them. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Tony.
It's me again already. Right. Yes, going back over some old poems and trying to make them a bit better. And it is a poem that I worked on this morning, actually. And by the way, although that poem is in the third person, I do have a basement, and I am a bit scared of it. And the poem is called The Old Mole. Smoke, cindered toast shuts down the socket circuits. The man, scared of his basement, had to crab down stone steps, flapping at cobwebs. The overhead light worked. It showed crumbling sandstone, a blocked up coal hole, offcuts, junked mementos, rusty tools, old paint pots, warped elves and green slimed flagstones to be crossed on a causeway of flattened cardboard boxes. He tackled a circuit protector, still and mysterious as creation. And when he hit the wrong button, the light went off with a thump. And when he hit the button again, the dark was still primordial. The manual was somewhere as mm, examined as his life, the torch in some drawer. So he became a mouldy warp, a velvet pelt, quivering snout, and thick clawed shovel paws to tunnel upward, upward, through black as thick as soil, battling worms, centipedes, springtails, and earwigs to reach the new improbability of light. Halfway is sight restored. The mirror showed his whiskers to be longer now and whiter, but otherwise he was normal. Torch, manual, sort it out. And that's it.
Great stuff. Okay, Val.
Hello. This one's called Pensioners. Basically, I think pensioners get split into two camps. There's the sort of the really whingy ones, and then the ones who are really great. Anyway, I have some at the bottom of my garden, and they're really whingy ones. So no offence to anybody or anything. I'm avoiding the pensioners again. All they ever do is complain. They're miserable and snappy. They never seem happy. I find them a bit of a pain. I grew all my bushes so high, they could no longer see me pass by. Now they're having a moan that they're too overgrown. Sometimes I just wish they would die. So I cut down my bushes last week. Now they can see me to speak. But they've started to twine about a bush that's not mine. I think it's a bit of a cheek. I know we all have to get old, and pensions are like that, I'm told. But there are those that you hate, and others are just great, and some are just pure solid gold. That's the end.
Fantastic. Obviously, they'll remain anonymous. John, what have you got for us?
Okay. This is one that I've just been writing over the last week, so it's not really finished. And it's about the Black Lives Matter and kind of white privilege area. So here goes. White man, start listening. Listen, keep listening, then listen some more. White man, start looking, really looking beyond your front door. White man, step down, give others a turn. No one will think less of you. Black people aren't after you. Black people want nothing off you. Someone else a turn. I like to get up early before man murders the day, before he fills the air with fumes, before he barges past with his presumes. Some statues fell, then history books fell open. People did read from alternative sources, found new understanding. White man, you're not the victim here. White man, go out on a limb, learn our history of exploitation, coercion, manipulation. I like to get up early before man murders the day, before he sprays the air with bullshit, before he falls into the pit he's made. White man, you don't know it all. Take a look before you fall. White man in your great big house, how many bathrooms do you actually need? Rich white man with your hemmed in life, rich white man sweating fear through the night. White men need to shut up, listen, shut up, listen, then listen again. If you feel like talking, just count to 10, then count to 10 again. In this little struggle that permeates all aspects of life, you're nothing exceptional, can't see your name in lights. Try to resist the selfie kiss, you will not be missed. All the sights you saw on your ego trip, described by others as nondescript. You flipped your lid, lost your grip, gazing down on mirror-like surfaces. Gazing down on mirror-like surfaces. I like to get up early before man murders the day.
Yeah, well said. Barbara, have you got another one for us?
Yeah. So the other one that I'd quite like to share, it's by Roger Robinson, who was the winner, I think this year, of the T.S. Eliot Prize. And his collection is called A Portable Paradise. And it's that type of piece that I quite like to share. It's absolutely lovely. He writes a lot about paradise. A portable paradise. And if I speak of paradise, then I'm speaking of my grandmother, who told me to carry it always on my person, concealed, so no one else would know but me. That way, they can't steal it, she'd say. And if life puts you under pressure, trace its ridges in your pocket, smell its piney scent on your handkerchief, hum its anthem under your breath. And if your stresses are sustained and daily, get yourself to an empty room, be it hotel, hostel, or hovel. Find a lamp and empty your paradise onto a desk. Your white sands, green hills, and fresh fish. Shine the lamp on it like the fresh hope of morning, and keep staring at it till you sleep. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Richard.
Yeah, I've got bringing the tone down a bit now. It's something that you rarely see on films or whatever, is people going to the toilet. And I'm trying to address this oversight in the filmic industry. I'm providing a screen debut for the humble toilet roll, possibly with a wipe-on part to begin with. It's called A Screen Debut for a Bog Roll. I've never seen Lassie cock his leg by a tree. Has anyone seen Brian the Snail have a pee? And those who travel through time and space never beam down to a bog someplace. I wonder why. The dolphin flipper in all that water never did what he shouldn't ought to. If you are aware of the plot, don't you spoil it. Is there ever anyone in the toilet? Really, James Bond must believe himself. I've never seen him relieve himself. I wonder why. And then there's Skippy, the bush kangaroo. I've not spotted him skip to the loo. But some things are outside our control, and however dire things may be, I've not caught a glimpse of a bog roll or a convenient lavatory. Thank you. Just thought I'd lighten the mood a bit there with all the COVID stuff.
A leading role.
Absolutely, yeah.
Roz, follow that.
I've gone back to being silly, would be pleased to know. This is...
That's good.
It's called Rhymes with Accents. Well, this is a bit of a fluke. I seem to have written a book, but it feels more like bad luck because I thought I was writing a book. Still, I'm destined to remain poor because I can't even read it myself. I'm destined to remain poor because I've only sold 4, which will probably ensure my status as one of the poor. So I thought I'd make a scone, but when I turned round, it had gone. And it had been replaced by a scone with the consistency of a stone. To clear up the aftermath, I decided I'd take a bath and put it down on the hearth, a lovely warm place for a bath. And I got my daughter to fill it up with water, and she stayed to have a natter while I splashed about in the water. And that is that. It's more normal for me, I think.
Thank you very much. Susan.
Hello.
Hello.
I haven't had any time to write anything, and I hope I don't go all robotic because of our very aged machine. Anyway, so this is something you've possibly heard before. And it's inspired by a walk past Tony's house one day. And I like the hair, Tony. It's looking good. Okay. Every year, I have this fear that frogs won't make it. Tricked into an orgiastic revelry by one fine day, and cruelly betrayed by a cruelly changed and changing world. Naked, glistening, supple bodies clamouring and clinging, with no shame at being overlooked on well-known frogging sites. But crystalline frost clumped on quivering eyeball jelly spawn makes me quite forlorn, in case the thaw will come too late. And similarly, toads are idiots on roads, for one was flattened on the path where I walk, hands affronted to its throat and heart laid bare, on tarmac there for all to see. Why the crossing? Where's it going? Nowhere near a beck or stream, save the other side of new builds, driven out and into car paths, for dramatic posed demise, a silent scream from wide triangle and haunted, empty eyes. We found a toad outside Tony's one time. Not that we were hovering around Tony's house, but we walked past it and there was a flattened long toad there, which was sad.
It was me.
It was you, you
I murdered it.
Yeah, he just come back from the pub again.
I murdered it.
beast.
there.
We'd also seen a dead badger somewhere, and Harry went, "They'll be coming for Ratty next."
I didn't do that one.
Okay.
Sounds like CSI Wind in the Willows or something like that. Jean, hello. Have you got something you want to share with us, or are you?
Hello. Yes. Oh, I haven't got a microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's okay. Well, I can't because I've got my cans on, so I can't hear me. It's called All That Remains of History. All that remains of history are artifacts with no instruction, no leaflet or dad to show us how to cut a pyramid stone, but the hands left fingerprints showing brainwaves, how they held the axe. We know the human is moved, just like us, because we can palm an axe head, obsidian or jade, made for display, like putting a gold guitar in a rock star's coffin. But we can mimic the holding, but not the mindset. The Ice Age villagers didn't know central heating, or letters, or Tampax, wouldn't grieve at a 2 days walk to trade a flitch, didn't expect to go grey, or survive childbirth, or a broken leg, or see grandchildren, or eat what they hadn't slaughtered and been covered in its blood, or stop working, or retire. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, back to me then. This is just a short limerick. Goes, There's something of a theme developing this evening. When I think of the NHS and essential workers so brave, and our dithering government's advice that it gave, it makes me despair. They should use this time to prepare for the inevitable oncoming wave. And that's that. Thank you. Okay, Jeanette, it's you.
All right, this one was written way back in April when we weren't going anywhere, and I was thinking about having a walk along the Howk in Colbeck and couldn't go. So it's called Foraging for Wild Garlic, Springtime 2020. I wandered and meandered down familiar path aligned with clusters of green spears thrust from ancient woodland floor. Potent tonic beckoned with incense. White caps dropped and nodded, awakened every sense. I wandered and meandered down familiar path towards a savoured recollection, left wildlife to the woodland, left life on woodland floor. And that's that.
Cool. Tony's nipped out, so we'll skip to Val.
This one's a bit strange because it's got like a poem within a poem. But it's basically, if you can make two words rhyme, is that actually poetry? So this is called Bad Poetry. I have a friend who drives me round the bend. He doesn't seem to know it, but he's just not a poet. There's nothing worse than really bad verse. I don't like to quote, so here's one I wrote. I met a girl, she is my world, she's very sweet, her hair is so neat. We went for a walk and had a talk, we sat on the sand, I held her hand and declared my love under the stars above. But perhaps sometimes the most obvious rhymes can be a work of art if they're written from the heart.
Yeah, well said. Richard.
Yeah, I've got one. It's called Making Tea. A very quintessential English pastime. And it's basically about people who are arguing at home, having breakups, and there's a lot of that been going on with the COVID lockdown, of course. But what better thing to do is making up over a cup of tea. So it's that. That look, the unspoken word that shook me more than it stirred. Doors slammed, but who really cared? A sham, it's all too absurd. Making up, making love, and making tea. That seems to be the kind of life for me. Recreation, procreation, and some tiffin too. First growing up, then brewing up. One lump or two. Harsh words, the shake of the head. What nerds, they're better off dead. Whose bulk is now thrown around? A sulk, the farce truly crowned. Ranting long into the night, panting as we start to fight. Hearts race, our senses restored. Embrace and love is outpoured. Making up, making love, and making tea. That seems to be the kind of life for me. Recreation, procreation, and some tiffin too. First growing up, then brewing up. One lump or two. Petal, I've had more fun. Kettle, why not put it on? A fix, it does ease the pain. Leaves mix, our eyes meet again. That's it. I must admit, I actually drink coffee more than tea, but...
That was poetic license.
That was poetic license for it, yeah.
You should have read that.
It solves all problems, apparently. So.
You should have read that before the toilet roll one, and then...
Maybe.
Could have been a continuity. No, never mind. Great. Roz, what have you got for us?
Right. Well, this I was just doing now. I don't know if it's finished, but it's as done as it's going to be now. It's for Val. It's called Mary Port here, and I thought of it when I was on the phone to you the other night. Yesterday, I got struck by a thought. Was there really a Mary Port? Since I'm not actually there now, it's impossible to say just how I can know that Mary Port's real if I can't see it nor touch it to feel. It must lie in thought and memory, where inside my mind I can see a Mary Port that I used to know, which is not the same place I still go. But if Mary Port is, then Mary Port must be what Mary Port is exactly. So this exact thing I have to find, occupying a space beyond my mind, somewhere called Mary Port, is the objective I have sought, because I've never known that it could, because I'd never know that it did exist if it wasn't for this final twist, when I see the reality of Mary Port as a place, it seems, to fall short. And if I had imagined Mary Port, it would have been a pretty seaside port. Oh, resort even. The last minute. I knew it rhymed with port. Never mind. Sorry. I shall shut up and have a drink now.
That was lovely. That was great. Fantastic. And does Mary Port exist when we're not there? Good question.
Yeah, good question indeed.
It's like that one about the trees, whether they make a sound in the forest if they fall, if you're not hit there.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh.
If no one's there to hear them, apparently.
Well, I could always read you that later if you want. If you
Oh,
want.
right. Well,
or I can shut up and read something else as well.
we'll save it for the next time. Okay.
Wine.
Susan.
Okay, so again, this is one I possibly have read here before. I don't know. I can give you a social history lesson on the Industrial Revolution, or the comparisons of Brecht and Stanislavski. But as for writing new work, I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that when you're homeschooling and working. So this is an old one. I'm not apologising because you get to hear it again, so it's a treat, you know. It's the Zen of Lockdown. So, the summer snow has fallen, dotting ivy leaves with pink-stained white and gathering in flurries in the newly weeded crevices. Heavy blossom-laden branches shedding delicate petals when a breath of wind blows through them, or a clumsy, floundering pigeon flap-slaps its wings in frantic dance. There is no point in sweeping up, as I hear the plaintive moan of pigeon returning. But the colour wheel emerges on a gust of wind beneath the white, as blues and pinks of nodding bells and rosemary have overtook the green-stained yellows of daffodil and cowslip. I can see the next buds forming, know the wheel is turning, and the reds and purples will emerge to rule the summer months in majesty, as peony, chive and rose appear. My feet are brushed by snow-like petals standing on this thirsty earth, the gardener's curse, and days tick by in solitude save the burr chit-chit and whew of blue-tit and of sparrow. And I wonder how my usual haunts are faring, ghost towns as they should now be, how lakes and hills bereft of boot and boat are knowing what to be. If the messy spread of nature has healed a pummelled world in the absence of our presence-shaping print on place, our selfish stamp of boot print now removed, or coast-destroying boat wash, what will earth become? My sweeping brush is laid aside as delicate petals fall like snowflakes covering my just swept path.
Good stuff. Jean, do you have another one for us?
I do, but it's in the other room. So I'll have to. Are you going to have another break at some point?
We will, yeah, probably at some point. Did you want to? I can do one if you want to go.
Oh, if you do one if you don't mind, yes.
Oh.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, it was really rather stormy at the weekend, and there was a lot of rain coming down and quite a lot of high winds and stuff, particularly on I think it was Sunday, and it put me in mind of this one that I did for. Well, I was inspired by. It turned out to be Storm Desmond, and this is the man who was scared of the wind, and probably heard it before, but here we go. I asked the old man, "They say you're scared of the wind." He looked at me wearily, having been asked this question before, and before that again, no doubt. What of it? Well, I hesitated, because I am British, and it just isn't done to cry. But then again, how could anyone ever learn anything without asking why? Are you scared of the wind? I was scared of the wind, and a mighty wind it was, said he, as a distant look swept into his eyes. Not just a gale, you understand, or a hurricane, not even a typhoon, oh no. Not a whirlwind or tornado, but a great wind from the heavens, from high above, roaring like a beast, an invisible creature, tearing across the land and the seas, tearing down houses and ripping up trees. This great power blew along unchallenged. In the darkest black night, you could hear it fighting beech trees, firs, ashes, and oaks. In the harbours and seashore, scattered splinters of boats. Even people were caught up and blown far away. People? I asked. So I heard. An old man and his wife swept right off their feet and funneled up into the sky. Did they ever? My words hung in the air. No, never. And you ask if I was scared of the wind? Why, yes. That's how this conversation beginned. And that's that. Thank you. Okay. Jean, have you found your words?
Yeah, I found it. Thank you. I went on an Arvon writing course, which had been a lifelong ambition, and then I actually earned enough money, saved enough money to go on one. And one of the tasks, we looked at sort of ballads. So I wrote the Ballad of the NHS. As I walked out one morning dark to take the bus to Acredale, I saw a nurse in scrubs and coat standing with a face so pale. She said, "We lost a man today, arrhythmia tachycardial. The doctor didn't spot the trace, infarction myocardial. The late shift went from bad to worse, 4 cancelled operations. The resus trolley delivered today won't fit the nurse's station. The night shift charge nurse phoned in sick, and CQC are calling. Our statin manned compliance low, and the catering's appalling. The trouble is, the system's broke with targets like you'd never guess. I'm crying for the man we lost, but mourning for the NHS." Sorry, a bit depressing.
Oh, very powerful, that one. Of course, the NHS have been so to the fore of the last few months, saving so many people and doing so much good.
You should send that somewhere, Jean. I don't know where, but somewhere. Send it somewhere. Just send it into the ether. Put it on Facebook and you might go viral.
In a good way. Cool. All right. Jeanette, have you got another one?
Got another one from the Wicked and Wiser Words. It was written in 2018, but I think it kind of fits in with lockdown eating habits. It's called Diet. I'll start tomorrow, 10,000 steps. Drink lots of water, a few more reps. A taut new body, slim waist and hips is what I dream of whilst eating chips. Counting calories makes me mutter. Bread needs primer, it must be butter. What is salad without a dressing? Peas no pie, I start stressing. Fruit is tasty, I cannot grumble, but so much nicer in a crumble. Cut out snacks, I tell myself, hiding chocolate on the shelf. Night time's worse, watching telly, distracted by my rumbling belly. A mug of tea, a slice of cake. Diet starts tomorrow after my break.
Yeah, I think there's a number of people can identify with that. Fantastic. Oh, Richard.
Yeah, I've got another one. It's called In the Foundry. I'm just going to turn the dishwasher off.
I like the domesticity of
Oh,
poetry.
yes. So we're reading in the kitchen, you see, all the appliances going on. Yeah, it's about, it's called In the Foundry, and it's, although you expect to find iron usually in a foundry, this one is a departure from the obvious, and it's a story of a foundling who was left outside a foundry, but there is a happy ending, so there we are. I found love inside the foundry. She would smelt into my arms because she fell for my charms. Our love is hot, molten passion. We'd better ration what we've got, or something unassuming could become all-consuming. I need love, for I'm a foundling. A mother I never knew, maybe, hoped I would pull through. Love is lost, left outside a door. I wonder what's in store. Count the cost. If I remain overnight, I feel the cold start to bite. I found love outside the foundry. They took me in and gave me care. My life they wanted to share. Love is grand, the warmth a relief. And it's my belief that this was planned. Now I have a family home. I will never be alone. And there we are. It's going to be the title of my new book of poetry called "What Did I Find in the Foundry?" And the answer is love. But there you go. It's a sort of soppy thing. But there we are.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being soppy now and again.
No, that's true.
Okay. Roz, back to you.
If time runs out, you don't want to hear this anyway, because it's rubbish. So
No, it's not.
it is. I haven't really.
That's not the
finished
attitude
writing.
to take.
No, well, if we run out, I've got it here. It's called Not a Logical Belief. If the awful things that happen are working to his plan, it seems the only conclusion can be that God is a bad man. And if the random nature of events lie beyond his control, why do you think he's got the power to save your soul? You probably made the assumption God will save the devout, and the reward for adulation is what divine intervention's about. And that's why you waste lots of time each and every Sunday in church, where all they can tell you is have faith and pray. Only mad people are convinced of things without proof. Then it's a form of mass insanity, this belief in a Christian truth. How can we still have a need for some sort of spirituality when enlightenment teaches us reliance on humanity? And why is it so many people will not listen to words didactical on how simple life can be when you're logical and practical? And that was that. And I think it could have been better, but never mind.
Well, thank you very much. We'll probably tune back in a sec again when he times out, but I think, John, you've got to head off. But thank you for sharing your pieces with us. They were really great. So we'll hopefully see you next time. And yeah, it's been good.
I'll be going off as well, Phil, when we run out of things. So.
Okay.
But I'll see you next time at the Speakeasy or whatever.
The next one will be, I think, something like the 29th or something. So
right. Good. Look forward to that. Cheerio, everyone.
It's been really good. Thank you, guys, and we'll do a couple more in the next bit, and then I think we're all poeted out. It's blown by. I don't know if that's your best look, Val.
What happened there? I was trying to do a background. I think I'll take it off again. I clicked on the background and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Nothing is working for me.
I saw a thing recently where these like this, and somebody was having a work meeting, and the boss had been playing with the settings and turned herself into a talking potato, but they couldn't turn it back. She couldn't find out, so I had to hold the entire meeting as a talking potato. I just hope it was a really serious meeting because that really tickled me.
You found it hard to take it really seriously after
I know,
that.
that's it, but I don't know whose meeting it was or what it was about, but I hope it was something really groundbreaking and serious, and everyone was like, because it was this potato just giving it that. That amused me.
My niece is an accountant, and she was involved in a very serious fraud case. Not her, but investigating it. Sounds awful, doesn't it? And before they had a Zoom meeting between all the partners to talk about something quite high level. And before the meeting started, there was her and another guy in the Zoom. And the other guy held up this mug of coffee, and he said, "You see this mug?" She said, "Yeah." He says, "It's full of brandy." And she was like, "What?" He said, "Shh, don't say anything." And then, of course, all the way through the meeting, whenever he picked up his mug to have a drink, she was like, because she knew what was really in it, the benefits of working from home. For the private sector, I have to say.
That wasn't a business expense, though, was it? Susan, do you have another one for us?
Just penned a limerick now, because you did limerick. One sort of thing that Harry and I have to watch each week is Prime Minister's Questions. He absolutely loves it because we like seeing Boris getting a pasting of Keir Starmer. We think it's great. So this is penned in response to today's thing. We could be of any of them. So, the blonde buffoon brays, and he slaps the dispatch box, and both hands he flaps, as with boring precision Starmer makes a decision to play long games till Bojo snaps. We hope.
Very good. Very accurate as well. You should do the reports of Today in Parliament in limerick form. There's probably a publication in it somewhere.
Maybe I'll put it on Twitter and see if anybody takes it up.
Good thinking. And Jean, do you have another one?
I'm just going to microphone. This was in honour of our cleaner at work. It's called Elsie's Recipe for Bliss. I love dirt, because when it's gone, you know where you've been. I love grime on taps and tiles, and getting right in with a brush and bleach bristling the rim, till scale flakes as easy as salmon, with the seat cover bonnet all tied off neat, and the pedestal mat making the job complete. A final flourish, I launch the handle, and the white bowl fills with a rush like champagne. I'm Elsie Brown, and when the world's clean, my job will be done. And that's what she used to say. She wasn't called Elsie, but she used to say, "Oh, I love it. I love dirt because you can always see where you've been." She'd love my house.
I think everybody's been in my house then. It's filthy. Because the boys play in the garden, which is muddy, and then just trail it back in. My job to clean up, obviously.
All right. We're getting through quite a lot of poetry tonight, so it's all good. Sort of gone through all the stuff I'd sort of prepared, so stuck with repeats, I'm afraid. This This one goes like this. They say I am a poet, a writer who writes with pictures, an artist who paints with words, a legacy noted down in scriptures. Blurring lines of reality and creation, this ordinary daydream believer taps into another world of imagination. We are each our own dream weaver. Listen for the whispers. Can we hear our inner song? We reach a mental block occasionally before inspiration comes along. Scribble down perspectives. We spin ourselves a yarn or two. Poetry is the straightest way to starvation, but telling stories is what we do. To think is to create, is to write. That's where creativity lies. They say I am a poet, but I didn't realize. And that's that. Thank you very much. Jeanette, do you have one for us?
I have a little haiku. Jean, I'm loving it all the really, really lovely poems. But I love your ballad, Jean, on the NHS, and it didn't remind me because your ballad was fantastic. But back when we were clapping at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, I wrote this little haiku, and I suppose it fell in with Friday's 5 o'clock clap as well. So here goes. Closed doors opened wide. Our gratitude goes viral. NHS applause.
Yeah, it was a well-deserved 10 weeks in a row. It was a good thing that people did. Tony, back to you.
Yes. This one is also an older poem. I've been trying to improve, and it is an eco poem, really, a nature conservation poem, and it is set in the future, and it is called Shame. Three bright May mornings in a row, a male chaffinch blessed my garden by singing his heart out for a mate. From the bough of an apple tree, Isabel, amid sparse white blossom, he sang with the sweetest urgency. I couldn't keep him to myself. For the fourth morning, I arranged a bird song at breakfast for friends. 12 were invited, 30 came. Friends of my friends. I'm sorry, but they had to come and see him. The Nutripods and Eco Brews ran out, but no one came for food and drink. The survivor in my garden was all. Most had just seen one on a screen, but a few had childhood memories back beyond the, the tipping point. As we waited, I showed in my book the blue-grey head, brown-pink cheeks, white wing bands and grey-green rump. And like a jump, I tried to show its flight by running around my living room. We took turns at my picture window, wearing eye cams, but only saw drones cross the stippled early morning sky. Nothing from my garden microphones, just the hum of first slot magno cabs, a normal songless day in outer zone, and me, an ever more worried host, babbling of the birds' almost forgotten names. Chaffinch was a shell apple, I cried. A white wing, white finch, rowbird, boldy, flecky flocker, wheat bird, wet bird, and snabby. I fell silent. It was time to give up. I don't think anybody blamed me, for many a bird song at breakfast ends badly with a no-show. The guilty ones left us long ago. What a shame, the guests all said. What a shame. What a bloody shame. And that's it.
It's quite moving, that, Tony. Yeah. Ros, do you have another one, or you?
Not really, but I can give you this for free if you want. But I haven't even written it down because it's so bad, but I made it up ages ago when I was thinking about the zucchini. And I thought, because I thought we might actually get back there this week, but we're not. So I thought about it, so you can have it. I dressed my zucchini in a bikini, and what a tasty vegetable she was. And obviously it was only because I didn't think anyone had seen me. I don't know, I've forgotten it now. It was stupid in the first place. I'm going to have another drink and forget about tonight.
I loved it anyway, that was great. Susan, did you have another one?
Well, again, it's just something written at the start of lockdown, so it wasn't a time to write anything else. So, it has come full circle and back to the garden. The books are dusted off and browsed over resting coffee. I mind meander over musings for starting seeds. I am remembering how to grow. I am missing part of me, the activity of me, but the toiling outdoors is a gentle reminder of me and way of being. The garden is my cauldron for making magic happen. I am not troubled this time by eager helpers trampling seedlings or inquisitive samplers locust-like ratching through the trug. I have mind unravelling time and no demands. The world is quieter and slower while we set roots down, either by necessity or by choice. How to grow has been dormant within me, but spring is calling.
Very good. Jean, do you have another?
Yep. Ooh, sorry, didn't mean to shout. We go on holiday to Whitby every year, and this is in honour of the best chip shop in Whitby, which is in Silver Street. Don't believe it's anywhere else. It's a little back street, and all the locals go there, so that's the place to go. And it's called the Friars of Silver Street. The Friars of Silver Street have knowing smiles and rituals. Their steaming suppers circulate aromas through the window gills. The hissing spells, the ebullition, calling the hungry to make petition. Master Friar's alchemy turns numinous tales to silver white. Batter like a lion's mane traps the North Sea in every bite. Empty I come, craving mushy peas, to place my order, cod and chips twice please. Eat your heart out.
Excellent. I think I have been there, Jean, last time. Yeah.
So it gets the seal of approval there, Tony. Yeah, cool. All right, I think we're pretty much drawing to a close. I messaged Annie last week, and she said, I think Wild Zucchini's Bistro is back open again, but I think they're obviously observing social distancing and stuff, and live events are not going ahead at the moment. So I think we'll keep doing stuff on Zoom until things change, which I really don't know when that will be. But yeah, I think we've got another speakeasy in about, I think it's a 5-week month, so it'll be 3 weeks' time, so something like the 29th. Yeah, it's been really good. Just thank you all for joining in. Give yourselves a round of applause for sharing some good stuff.
And thanks to you for hosting, Philip. You do it so well.
Well, thank you all for turning up, so I can wrangle people. It'd just be me on my own otherwise. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, stay safe and well, and we'll catch up again soon. Okay.
Excellent.
Take care.
I will see you at Folk Experience tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Jean Hill's Folk Experience is tomorrow.
Yeah.
So anybody interested in folk music or anything that pretends to be folk music. 7:30 on Zoom as well. So just give Jean Hill a shout if you're interested. And yeah, see you there. We'll see you next time. And yeah, all good stuff. Well done, everybody.
Okay then.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, bye.
Bye.